Yo, so sick Nash fan back, and sorry for the delay on the Rick guide. I know this one was highly requested. Life has been lifing, but your boy is back for the City of the Wolves content. Now, Rick is a really sick character. I've actually had time to sit down with him of recent, and yeah, he goes pretty ham. This character, I would say, is very different from the rest of the cast, just what he relies on and how he plays. But he's definitely a brawler. Like, he is going to want to get in and do a lot of damage, and that he can do. He has some evasive movement. Like, he has, like, some sways going on, some sway backs, sway in. Like, he has a lot of evasion on top of, he can just go through projectiles altogether. So this character is like a evasive monster, but he dominates the mid-range. I would say his mid-range game is really good because he has a lot of good pokes. Like, his far C is really good, and even his far D is a really good poke to to hit your opponent who's just whipping in your face. So I think this character is perfect for somebody looking for an aggressive mid-range character. Like, if you're looking for that aggressive mid-range character, I would definitely recommend Rick. So let's get it started. For one, his normals, like I said, his normals are really good, especially like his C and D normal. Those are really good. So he's gonna get a lot of value playing outside of this range. But if we look at some of his buttons, like, of course, a lot of characters, close A is +1, and then we got the close B. Now his close B is going to be the one that you're going to frame trap with most. Now heavies, you can frame trap with heavies, of course, because like even his stand defense is +2. Problem is you're going to have to go into like lights because his crouching C is also 8, so it's only going to beat 6 frames. And even though characters got their crouching A's nerfed that were 4 to 5, it's not going to be the 6 frame, so you're still going to have to worry about that. So I would say his close B is the frame trap move that you're going to do, because if you do this, then this can frame trap like his crouch C, because then you're going to beat the 5 frame attacks. So that's going to be like your main frame trap, and then he's going to have a very far reaching crouching B like as a low. So he has a very far reaching low that could be easily like special move canceled. I mean, super canceled into, excuse me. So that's basically Rick in a nutshell, because as you see, he cannot special cancel, but he can super cancel. Just like that. So he's gonna have that dangerous low in his arsenal, and his jabs are just really good. So like a typical boxer, man, like he should be this good with his punches. So he's gonna have a lot of like really good staggers and just clean offense in general. Like I said, his main feint that you are gonna do is the standy feint, but remember, it's only +2. If you want a frame trap, you can go for like a stand jab or something like that, and then get your frame traps going on. So he's definitely a good frame trap monster, because this move right here is kind of insane. Having a close beat is +3, and he's gonna still be in that range to frame trap you. So I definitely like his frame data. His frame data is looking really nice, really nice. His red blow is a decent distance red blow, but I will say again, mid-range monster, right? Because from here it's gonna connect. So if Marco shoots a projectile at me, I'm in that mid-range, so I can snipe him, so that's really good. Air red blow, it just goes straight down, so it's not like crazy, but it's good. If you're right here, it's really good, especially if you feel like somebody's gonna uppercut on wake up. Just boom, they uppercut on wake up, they get clipped. And as you see, neutral, not bad. And now we're gonna make him crouch, and it's still neutral. So it doesn't change. Sometimes y'all already know the frame data can change if the opponent is standing or crouching, but for this case, it does not change. All right, so let's talk about some command normals. He's gonna have crouching A to down forward C. Like, this very interesting. It's a very interesting like target combo, but he can go into red blow after, like that. So I can see that coming in handy like that if you have red blow. If you just want to go into that, get a quick 223 damage, that's pretty good. But it's a very unique target combo, I will say that you probably won't be doing too much. And then he has standy backseat. And that is another one that you could just go immediately into like a whole special off of. So he has some pretty interesting target combos, but that one makes more sense. Standy backseat makes way much more sense than this one, because this one is like really weird. I probably wouldn't use that one too often. I probably would still route into that so I can get the mix-ups going. All right, but speaking of mix-ups, while we're there, let's talk about this unique stance to Rick. So if you press forward A plus C, he enters his stance. Now, out of the stance, he's going to have multiple options, and I want to talk about these options that he has. Now, he's going to have this unique jab, which he can chain up to 3 times. Let me show you that. And then he can go into a ender like that. So A plus C in stance is going to be his ender. That is going to be how you're going to end most of your confirms, like right there, right? He's also going to have a counter, which this counter will come in a lot of handy. Like if somebody's mashing, like if you do something like this, let's do, what do we want to do? We want to do this. Bam. You see how he countered that? So if you think your opponent is going to swing back, he has that option. And I'm going to show you this because this is pretty cool. Boom, and he can still juggle. That's really cool. So that's going to make your opponent hesitate and make you be able to keep like taking your turn. You're going to be able to turn still with that move, because if your opponent swings into it, guess what? You can just counter them. Now I'm going to show this. He can counter aerial attacks as well. So that is pretty good. Like I said, it's the hesitator. It's to make your opponent hesitate. Then he's going to have his overhead. If you just press C, he's going to have that overhead. Now, how this is going to work, let me turn that off and show y'all how the overhead is going to work. So if you overhead, you're going to have to move forward. Like he can move forward in his stance. So if you tap forward, he's going to move forward. So after this, and you see that was a full combo. So anytime you get the overhead, you get a dash A. And then when you do the A, you could just do A plus C. And then you confirm it all the way. Right? So that's really cool. And then to add to this mix, guess what? This man has a low. Same concept. Low, dash, boom, boom, boom. So he has a high-low in his mix-ups, which is very scary, honestly, when you add in all of his layers, because once your opponent's hesitating, the overhead and low becomes scarier. But just in general, the overhead and low is scary, you know? So he has a lot of layers, and that jab can just be staggered. So you could just stagger the jab if you feel like they're going to press. So I will say his mix-up potential is very high. And that's going to be where he is going to get a lot of his damage. So speaking of damage, let's talk about the special moves that this character has. And this is the part that was a little tricky for me when I first started playing him, because his special moves are very unique, right? So his quarter circle back A is the sway. Now, this is classic Rick. Now, if I shoot a fireball, guess what? Boom, boom, boom. He can sway through it. Now, while holding that sway, you can, if you press forward and B, he will dash out of it, which gives him a special move, because that is still a special move. And if you press back and B, he will dash back. So, meaning that you can do special moves out of that and, you know, try to, you know, close the gap between your opponent or sway back for space. So that's really good. Same with this version. Same thing. And you can even do, that's another thing. You can do the heavier version. You don't have to press B. You can press D as well to get the heavier version of the special move. But then, same thing with the C version. It's going to sway, same concept. But the EX one starts up a lot faster. So, like, if the fireball is kind of, like, right near you and you sway, you can immediately just go into the EX sway. But they all work pretty much the exact same, but the EX one starts up sooner. And if somebody knows some more information on them, please let me know in the comments if y'all know something else about them that I don't know beyond the EX one. Like I said, that one does start up sooner, so it is easier to go through projectiles with that one for sure. And then he's going to have quarter circle forward. So this move is very unique because it looks like just a punch, but it actually has like a lingering effect, like a projectile on the end of it. So you see where he's punching, but that like wind, that little wind strike is an actual like hitbox, so that can hit the opponent. This move is plus. Up close, it is +2. The C version is +2. EX version is +2. This move is really good, especially to just steal turns. Like if you do something like that, boom, you can keep your turn. Now, of course, that is fake. Like your opponent can jab in between that, but that is what we talk about when we talk about like turn stealers, because if you do this special move, you can frame trap them. So they're not going to want to press every time, but because they didn't press, boom, that gets put on their block, you're +2, you can take the advantage. So like that move is like really, really good. Really, really like turn stealy. So if you want to steal your turn and see if your opponent's going to mash, that is the type of move you would do. And it is used in combo routes, and I will show some of the combo routes a bit later. It's one combo route in particular I do, and I'll kind of show that because that will be the beginner combo route that you would want to do with Rick. Now, he is going to have an uppercut, but it is not your traditional uppercut because this uppercut right here, as you see, only -3, and it does have an invul to air attacks, but it is not invul on the ground. This one is a lot slower, hits twice, -5, but you can actually break it and be -2. So if you let it rock, you're -5, but if you break it, you are -2. And like I said before, you can, boom, it'll take that air invul and you can actually, you know, hit your opponent out of the air. Just like that. So those are really good anti-airs. They're not like crazy because they are slow. Like a 9 frame is kind of crazy because that is slow, but you know, it's an option. The EX version is really good because it bounces your opponent off the floor and then you can immediately just super. Just like that. So you could go into a super off that, and that is very, very, very powerful that you could just go into super off that. So my favorite is the EX version because it just gives you that immediate bounce and you can get a combo right there, a super. And then we're going to talk about the quarter circle forward kick, which is going to be one of his staple moves. It is going to be one of the staple because if you press punch, he'll do these multi punches and they're only -3, so that is really good. The only thing you will lose to is like a hyper defense, which, you know, the gods of Fatal Fury do know how to hyper defend this type of stuff, but you got to test your opponent and see if they are able to hyper defend it. But this is really good because not only is this -3, but he can go into stance after. So if you press forward A and C, he will go into stance after. And like I showed earlier, you can just counter after that. And if you counter, your opponent will not be able to swing back. So they have to hesitate a bit. And it adds like layers to his offense. Now, he does have a different version of this. Like, so this is the heavier version. Now that launches, like this actually launches the opponent, because even if you do that, that's still +1. If you do that, that's still +1, and then if you do that, that's still +1. The only difference is the heavy dash, and then if you press C, it'll launch, because if you do that with light dash, it still doesn't launch, but heavy dash actually launches, and it's like applied just like that with the EX version. Launch, and then you can just super. So same concept, but this is going to be the idea of how you're going to get a lot of his offense, because if you combo into this like that, you're actually +1, but you can go into stance and actually frame trap your opponent if they mash. Like you can actually do like go into stance and hit that jab. If they press a button, they're going to get counter hit. If they don't press a button, they get mixed. You see what I mean? So it's like you have to force them to want to press, and then when they do press, boom, boom, you know, you just hit them with that jab. So that's going to be the primary way you keep them standing. And then if they mash, you hit them, you know. Once you layer that in, you can do things like this, not go into stance and then just walk up and like throw them. you know? Boom, don't go in the stance, walk up throw. Stuff like that. It's all about reading how your opponent is fighting and what they are doing to try to, you know, stop your offense, basically. Last but not least, we're going to talk about quarter circle back kick. Now, this move gives him a traditional dash punch, which is really good at distance. Like, if you put it on somebody's block at distance, you can kind of get away with it, but you have to be able to space it, because right here it would still be -7, so you wouldn't want to do it this close. You would have to do it like at a specific range to where you could put it on their block late, and then you could get something like that -5, and then where they couldn't punish you. The D version just goes back further, and then he does the dash punch much further. So same thing, when spaced right, you won't get punished, or it'll hit late and be a lot safer. So you just have to make sure you are able to space this move. But this move is good just because you don't even have to press the punch. You can just sway back. You don't have to do anything, and that makes your opponent hesitate, because if they think the dash punch is coming, they might swing. You know what I'm saying? So it's very good to throw it in there. Don't do anything. Throw it in there and then do it. And then see if you hit them. Because if it does hit on counter hit, you do get a launch. Like, it does launch on counter hit. So that is the good thing about that move. It will launch on counter hit, and then you could do a full combo route. So speaking of combo routes, I'm going to show you the route that I've been doing with Rick. There might be more optimal stuff out there, but I'm just going to show you the route that I've been doing, a very easy beginner friendly route. And the only thing I will say about this route is just you have to delay the quarter circle forward punches. But let me show you this route, and I'll show it from like a wild punish, because I like being visual on things. So I'm gonna make Marco do this, and then I'm gonna make him whip this. And that is the route that I've been using lately. 609 does a lot of corner carry and just does a lot of damage in general, especially if you are in that SPG. And all I did was his quarter circle back. I do that punch, and then I do the fireball. Like, I do it like later. That way they fall a bit. So when you do this route, you can actually get it all to combo. Because if you do it too fast, you'll go under them with this, and you never want to go under them with that. So just add a bit of a delay in between this, and then you'll be fine. That combo is like really easy, and it nets you a lot of damage. And like I said, I like to show it off a wild punish. Same thing, I'll show one more wild punish example. And just like that, 596. So this character can dish out a lot. I repeat, a lot of damage. And he's mad fun. I actually like this character. I'm gonna probably try to take him to a Legendary Wolf myself, because I haven't even played with him quite yet. So I would love to, you know, try to rank up with this character. But next, we're gonna talk about his supers. So I'm gonna turn that off. He's gonna have his punch super. This is gonna be his invul super. So this is what you're gonna wake up with. He punches you off the wall, and they bounce back, and then you're plus 43. Now, depending on where they bounce off the wall, will change some of that frame advantage. Because last time it was 43, but now it is 34, meaning you do get a short hop safe jump off of that. So just a reminder, if you hit it in the corner, they're gonna hit the wall a lot sooner, and then you'll be able to get that. And then if we do the red line version, boom, boom, same concept, 42 this time. Let's do it on the wall. 34, same thing. So you will get that safe jump. So that is very nice. The kick version are these like multi punches, but he punches you across the screen. Now the kick version does do more damage, but you lose all Oki. Now 55, you can get across the screen, so that'll be fine. But like I said, they don't bounce off the wall, and they're right near you, so it's a little different. Red line version. Boom, 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 boom. This super is so godlike. Boom. And they do bounce off the wall this time, and they bounce right towards you for plus 26. So that is very good. And then, you know, I gotta show the hidden gear, man. Gotta show the hidden gear. because his hidden gear is like Omega dope. Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, this character, like, I will say I'm a fan of him. I think he's good. I think he's solid. I don't think he's top tier or anything, but I do think he's good and solid. He could definitely get some wins because he has enough in the tank to get the job done, especially with his damage output, his mid-range game of whip punishes with his C and D. Like, those normals alone give him a really good, strong mid-range game. And on top of this, like I said, the dash punch, if it catches counter hit, you get that launch, and you can do any of those combos I displayed. So I do think he's good. He has some mix, so he does have to keep you guessing to a degree. Yeah, he's solid. Very, very solid character. So hopefully everybody has been enjoying Rick like I have, at least in training mode, because I have not streamed this character yet, but I will stream this character very soon. And I'm glad I could drop this guide because, like I said, I'm a little late, but hopefully this helps some of my community get better with Rick. Next, we will have Duck King, so I will be dropping a guide for Duck King when he is released, but hopefully this Rick guide helps you guys. Until next time, peeps, peace.